Okay, well, good morning, guys. My name is Juan Mercado, with you every Friday. And as I stated last Friday, we're going to be talking. We're going to jump right into it because we got a lot of ground to cover, and we got 15 minutes to do it in. So we're doing a series that's going to last 8 weeks, and basically what this series, just to do a little recap of last week, is that what I'm here to do is to help you accomplish all the dreams and goals that you have for your life, not only financially, but in your relationships, in your personal, within yourself. Any goal you have, you stay on this call every Friday, and we're going to help you get there. Now, I'm going to take you down that path, but you're going to do the work. So, but it's going to be a fun ride. So let's get started. Now, today we're going to talk about fear. So I hope everybody had a chance to write down all their fears, everything that frightens them, and we're going to go ahead and knock right through this. And I'm going to show you how you're going to overcome these fears. So if you have your list ready, let me go ahead and first start off by saying that everything that I teach is based on the principle that the power that it takes. Well, let's backtrack a little bit. That for you to accomplish everything that you want in life, you have everything already built inside of you since you were born to do so, but you just haven't been able to tap into it, or you don't know how to tap into it, and that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to help you with, okay? So one of the truths is that we're a product of our most dominant thoughts. So you may want to have something, but 99% of the time you're thinking about what you don't have and how you don't have what you don't have and how you're never going to have what you want. So you think 1%. So let's just put the scale. Always put the scale on any of your thoughts. And this is how I'm going to go into fear and how we're just going to allow you to be able to, let's say, go behind the curtain and see that fear is not that big green monster that you've always thought existed. So if we are a product of our dominant thoughts and 1% of your time you think of all the great and wonderful things that you want to have, and then 99% of the time you're thinking about how you're never going to have that, you didn't come from the right family, you don't have enough money, and all these excuses, numerous excuses, well, that's 99% of your dominant thoughts. So what do you think you're going to have? You're not going to have success. You're not going to have what you want. Well, because of that, we believe that we're not capable of accomplishing those things, but it's an erroneous way of thinking. It's just that you don't understand how you work. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm your guide to help you understand how you work, and then you go and do the work. And you go and create wonderful, beautiful things in your life. And we're going to be able to do that. But the reason I always start off this workshop with fear is because fear is what keeps us from even getting on this call, thinking that I don't even know if I need to get on this call because nothing's ever going to change. How can something change with a 15-minute call once a week? That's fear right there. So if you see your list of fears, you're probably going to, if I did a rundown, if I just guess, you're probably going to, I just feel that I'm never going to accomplish my financial goals. You probably second, first or second is going to be I'm never going to accomplish that beautiful, wonderful, loving relationship that I want to have. Or find that beautiful, wonderful person that would like to spend the rest of their life with me. Number 3, probably somewhere in the mix within those would be I'm never going to accomplish my fitness goals. I'm never going to accomplish the relationships, the positive relationships with my family, with my children, and so forth. So all of these are just, like we said, fears. But what is fear, and what is the opposite of fear? So first, let me take another step back and say the opposite of fear is faith. Okay, so we know that the opposite of fear is faith. What is fear? And fear, I asked my son, what is fear? And he said he had an answer. And I asked my wife, what would you define fear? And she had an answer. And they all had an answer saying that fear is what keeps you from doing this, and fear is what keeps you from doing that. Okay, that is true. Fear does keep you from doing that. But what exactly is fear? Fear, and I want you to write this down. I want you to understand what fear is. You have to understand it so that you can overcome it. Fear is nothing else than a negative thought that's emotionalized. And it becomes a dominant thought. Let's go to the other side. of the sphere or of the pendulum. Let's go to the other side. The other side would be faith, which is a positive thought that's emotionalized. And so what happens is, next week I'm going to talk about energy. We're going to talk about how a thought is materialized. That's lesson next week. But what I want to talk about right now is just kind of saying how this materializes. So what happens is you start with a negative thought, you emotionalize it. So somebody may say, you're a loser. You're never going to accomplish anything in life. You may have somebody that mentors you in something, and he says, my goodness, you're just never going to accomplish. Maybe your father said that to you one day. You're no good. You're never going to accomplish anything in life. And you heard that. Well, the first time you heard it, it really hurt you. It impacted you at that moment. But that same pain from those words that came from your father is not what caused you to have so much fear. What happened is you kept repeating it in your mind and you kept putting emotion into it and you agreed to it. More than anything, when you have a dominant thought, it's a thought that you've agreed to what it is. So not only did you put an emotion, but there's an agreement there. So we have to break those agreements because everything you put on that list that you fear, you have agreed to. And we now have to unagree to those things. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So when you have fear, it's nothing else than a negative thoughts and emotionalized. You heard it one time. You didn't know what to do, so you continue to let that simmer in your brain. And now it's become this big, giant monster. But it really isn't anything but a thought that you can change. Can you disagree to? Okay? So let me also go through, before I tell you how we're going to overcome these fears, what we have to do, I want to tell you what else is fear that you probably may or may not know is fear. Okay? So everything you have written down there, you might want to write these down too. Okay? And I want to say something that when you fear something, fear has only one objective, okay? There's only one objective to fear, and that is to grow. It doesn't shed light on anything. It doesn't help you. It is a cancer. It will grow. If you have fear of one thing, it will continue to grow and take over other areas of your life that you may not have fear in right now. You can sometimes see it in professional sports where you have a team that's got momentum. Then, in soccer, you may have a team that's got momentum. They've scored a goal, and then all of a sudden they think they're winning, and then now they score a goal against them. They're losing. They're tied 1-1, and then they score another goal, and 2-1, and now and the fear starts setting these players. Sometimes that ends up being a loss for them because they can't overcome it because it starts to grow. Fear will always grow. You need to write that down. So you need to stop it. Because if you don't stop it, it'll continue to go into areas of life right now that you don't want it to go into, okay? Now, I also want you to know what fear is as well, okay? Revenge is fear. Judging others is fear. It's a form of fear. You judge because you fear, okay? There is no, well, let's not get it up. Judging is fear. Hatred is fear. Jealousy is fear. Anger is fear. Envy is fear. Poverty is fear. Ego is fear. Pride is fear. Arrogance is fear. All these areas are also fear. So you're like, well, everybody has those emotions. Yeah, we may have some of these emotions at a given time, but do they become a dominant thought? And a dominant thought is what? Is a thought that we emotionalize and we repeat in our mind over and over again. We continue to go over it, simmer it, and we're cooking it. We're brewing it inside of us. Once something becomes a dominant thought, it becomes a trait within you. Once it becomes a trait, it'll become an archetype. An archetype is basically a defining part of who you are. Now, I'll give you some resources at the end of the call, and you can go and do some more reading. Like I said, I'm here to take you down the path, and then you and I are going to walk down that path. But you got to walk with me hand in hand, and you have to do the work. Okay, so how do I get rid of fear one? Okay, first of all, we said that fear is a negative thought that's emotionalized. Faith is the opposite of fear, and it's a positive thought that's emotionalized, okay? So now those two things, I'm going to show you how we go through and we knock everything out of the way, and this is going to take work. This is like, imagine your life in your mind. It is a garden, okay? You're going to get weeds in that garden. You're going to get little rodents in that garden. So we have to get rid of that, and then we also have to fertilize our garden. We have to seed our garden. So we have to continuously do this. As we progress through our 8-week workshop, I'm going to show you ways that you can work on all this without you actually having to work on it. But it's different techniques that we're going to do, and then you're going to have your subconscious mind helping you and working with you. Right now, your subconscious mind is working against you in some of the areas of your life that you're still not successful in or going towards the path of success. Because there is no failure. There's just where we're going, right? And we could be going down the path that's giving us more of what we don't want, which is success, because we are creating that. And once you know you created the things that you don't want, you'll know that you can also get rid of those and create the things you do want. But we'll always get what we deserve, not what we want. And what we deserve is what is our dominant thoughts. We want to do the right thing for ourselves, but are we thinking more of the right things for us most of the day? It's okay, and I mean, it's not okay, but it's easy to fake it, and to fake it to others. You know, there's a saying that says, fake it till you make it. But the thing is, you got to fake it. When you fake it to make it, you got to believe it in yourself. You got to believe that the possibility is there and that you will reach that goal. So when we have fear, anything you have fear, let's just make an example of fear. So let's say you fear that you're never going to be successful. Okay, so when you say you're never going to be successful financially or in business, okay, so when you think about business, what happens? When you start thinking about business, you probably start getting in the pit of your stomach a nauseating feeling. And all that is that thought has been emotionalized, okay? So there's techniques that you're going to use to get rid of this when this thought comes to mind, okay? It's very simple. You're going to write it down. One thing that you must understand why these techniques work is because you can only have one thought at the same time. So once you can understand that and you have a negative thought, you have to be the gatekeeper of your thoughts. Every single moment of the day that you're conscious, you have to be the gatekeeper of your thoughts. Thoughts, emotionalized, eventually become disease if they're negative thoughts. So you have to be a gatekeeper. Now, if we can only have one thought going through to our subconscious mind, which is the creating universe, the creative universe within us, we'll talk about that next week as well. We'll touch base through this. Then what I need to do is make sure that the thoughts that go through are only the thoughts that I want. They're going to be emotionalized in the way that I want to. So if I'm thinking that I'm going to be a loser because of I've just never been successful in business, and I base my history of what is going to happen to me in the future, then what I have to do is simply understand that I have to turn that around to a faith statement. And what you have to do to a faith statement is you make the opposite of it. So they say, I'm such a loser in business. It scares me. I don't even want to think about business. Okay? Well, if that's the case, then I just need to take it, I just need to turn it and go, I am very successful in business. But if you say I'm very successful in business, you're not going to believe that, because you're going to go back, your mind, your own mind's going to say you have had no success. So you have to trick. There's a trick so that what you want to do is all of your thoughts that are your dominant thoughts, you want be in agreement with your subconscious mind. In other words, you want your subconscious mind, which is the force within you, which is what manifested in reality. You want it to be in agreement, because if it's not in agreement, you could do this all day and it won't work. So what you do is you do a why statement. You say, why am I such a successful business owner? Why do I make $1 million a year in my business? Because that is as simple as it can get. You are now bypassing the subconscious mind, and they will accept it, because the subconscious mind is now going to accept something that has already happened. It's actually going to work towards making it happen in the material world if it hasn't yet happened, which it hasn't, because that's why we're using this technique. So anything you fear, I fear that my husband will leave me, I fear that my wife will cheat on me, you're going to take, why do I have such a loving relationship with my wife? Now, here's the work. Every time you start thinking about those negative thoughts, you have to do the work of doing the why statement that is opposite, that is acting in faith. And when you act in faith, which is what a why statement is, you will then start to overpower the negative thoughts as your dominant thoughts, and now these thoughts, the things that you want, will become your dominant thoughts. And over time, what will happen, you'll see that things in your life are going to start to change. For example, you have a negative relationship with your husband and your husband or your wife, and you start saying, man, we always fight, we're always arguing about. You're not helping the situation, right? And saying, oh, we have a great relationship doesn't help either. You say, why do I have such a loving relationship with my wife? And so this goes down into your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is in there thinking without you knowing, unbeknownst to you. It's looking around and it's going, they have a horrible relationship. What do we do? And so it'll start bringing into your life things that will help you to have that be a truth. So maybe you'll go somewhere and you'll see a flyer that says, hey, free couples therapy, it's fun and it's date night, like a date night. And you say, look, I don't know why I saw this, but this sounds good. Call it up. See, you have to be flexible. You can't want something you've never had and expect to know how to get there, and it has to be done your way. It doesn't work that way. It will be done however it needs to be done. You don't know, right? If I want to be a billionaire, I can't go to Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and say, no, I think we should do it this way. They're going to look at me and go, you're okay, well, that's why you're not. Right? So God will put things around you. You have to be flexible and follow through. Just follow through. I don't know, but honey, does it feel right? And if it feels in your heart, if you feel something in your heart, then it's good. Do it. If it feels in your stomach, not good. If you feel in your heart, like a warm, fuzzy feeling, do it. Yeah, let's try it. And we go there. And you go there, you have a great time. And then you meet another couple that says, you know, that we went through what you went through, and this is one of the things that really helped us. What is it? And then boom, 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 boom. Before you know it, you have that wonderful marriage that you've been claiming, okay? So this is what you're going to do in every single one of those fear factors. My time is up, guys. Oh, my goodness. My time is up. So this is the technique. You turn everything into a why statement, and you turn it into a faith statement, and then you read over it when you have that negative thought comes through, guys. And that's how we overcome all our fears. And this is a very simple technique, but let me tell you something. Everything that makes you a success is a simple thing. And like you're going through the book, Little Things Matter, every little thing is what creates those big things, guys. Okay, well, I love you. Have a great weekend. And next week we're going to talk about energies. We're going to talk about how all this subconscious mind actually creates this into a reality. Love you guys. Have a great weekend.